Hello, everyone. It is honorary Justice League Reserve member Ozchris here with some more Justice League themed reviews of uh, the third week of November's releases. So we have Justice League number 12, the third part in the Drowned Earth, and the third Legion of Doom focused issue. We have Aquaman number 42, a tie-in to Drowned Earth, and Justice League Dark number 5. So we'll start off with the regular Justice League. So the Legion of Doom dives in. So this is the penultimate issue to the Drowned Earth storyline, and while it's built kind of solicited as a kind of a Legion of Doom focused issue, it really isn't. The story is split between, is as shown with Drowned Earth so far. There's three parts to Drowned Earth. You have the Aquaman and Wonder Woman story, continuing from the previous issue. They meet Poseidon, asks for his help. What does he do? He stabs Aquaman in the chest with the trident. You have the Mera, Superman, and Flash story. Flash is infected. Superman has become a pirate. He's wearing an eye patch, and Mera's looking for a weapon to fight off the sea gods, but they instead encounter new Aquaman, Black Manta. And then you got the third story, Batman helpless, arms and legs broken, and the Legion of Doom have just attacked and invaded the Hall of Justice. So all in all, it's an okay issue. I've been liking Justice League so far, but this was an okay issue. Art for the most part is good, except for one part, which I'll get into later. The story still flows well. Not a problem with the dialogue at all. But like I said, it doesn't really come off as a Legion-focused story, much like the previous two Legion comics in Justice League. So, like the very early one of Lex getting the Legion together, here's a little bit of a backstory into how or why he formed this new Legion of Doom. Then the other one with featuring the Batman Who Laughs. This one, not really. It's still, because it's a crossover, it's still in the main story of the crossover, unlike kind of those two. So you do have some good moments of Batman, despite the fact he literally cannot use his arms and legs. He's still able to hold out his own against Sinestro, Joker, and Gorilla Grodd in a Lex mech suit. You know, a very kind of quippy, funny. Visiting hours are over, but I think there's an exhibit or two left I could show you. And then this is the part I don't like. It's the different art style with the Aquaman. Originally, it's only shown with the Aquaman and Wonder Woman parts. This different art style. While it's not particularly my favorite of the art, it contrasts so much with the art in the other panels, and we get a kind of a revelation that these sea gods, these alien sea gods, were actually peaceful. Orion did want to make peace with and unite with all other seafaring species, but Poseidon got a bit paranoid. He didn't want to share the at least Earth seas with anyone else. Kind of twisted Orion's personality and perceptions to where he believed that these sea gods, who were actually people who were suffering and they saw a glimmer of hope, he believed they were actually evil, sent them to the graveyard of the gods, where they became extremely bitter and then became evil. So they're tragic villains, pretty much. So like here's a good example of the contrast between art. I don't know if the lighting here works well, but see, you have the art Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Then you have with Lex and Cheetah. You can tell very two different art styles. I don't know why this was done. Art in the other one has always stick to the one artist and colorist, just pick the one. There didn't need to be two different art styles and colorists on this issue. So it was an okay issue for the most part. What the hell is going on with Flash here? This just reminds me of that picture of like Spider-Man of Peter Parker, and I think it was like the last issue of Donny Cates's Doctor Strange run, where just I'm wondering if it's the same artist, honestly. But that's all for this issue so far. It ends. We have one more issue left. That's the Aquaman Justice League Drowned Earth special. I've been liking Drowned Earth for the most part. This was a kind of a slight bump in the road. Story was okay, but the two conflicting art styles. I don't know why that was a decision. So this was an okay-ish issue. You know, despite the fact I've been liking Justice League, this was okay-ish at best. So we have the Drowned Earth tie-in with Aquaman. This is actually also Dan Abnett's last issue number 42, because Kelly Sue takes over from issue number 43, which is in December. So this kind of takes in between, you know, Aquaman being stabbed by Poseidon and then him revealing why he did it. And he's kind of testing Aquaman, because in the Justice League issue, he stabbed him in order to try and give him more power, but pretty much the ability that lets him take that power is all gone. So when Black Manta took all of the powers, he just made Aquaman a normal person, pretty much. So he's testing Aquaman, and the test is he meets manifestations or pretty much like dream versions of his father, Ocean Master. You got Black Manta as well, Mera, and Wrath, and some other people trying to steal Aquaman's trident. It's essentially, in the end, it's kind of despite the fact he has no powers, he should always hold on to hope. That's the test. That's the message of this issue, as he says in the end. It's called it's called Hope. When his dad asks, "You know what that place is called now, don't you, Arthur?" "Yes, it's called Hope." It's pretty much kind of a the message is you don't need you're still the man you are regardless of your powers. The powers don't make the man makes the man. Pretty much, like, just because you're powerless, it doesn't mean you're worthless. You can't be Aquaman. You can't be Arthur Curry. Essentially, it's at least what I got from out of this issue. So it's a nice kind of a sentimental kind of end to Aquaman. It does seem like it could be setting up the whole Kelly Sue with Aquaman doesn't have his powers. He still has his memories in this, but I'm guessing at the end of Drowned Earth, he's going to lose his memories. And so this was a pretty good tie-in, but it's not particularly necessary, as it's not really touched upon in Justice League, the Justice League number 12. So on to Justice League Dark number 5. The Nightmaster returns, and he is not welcome. So after the events of the Witching Hour, they still have to deal with the other kind, and they decide, the rest of the group decides they need to go to Mira, which is the dimension that Detective Chimp is technically in charge of protecting, because he is the new Nightmaster. The previous one, Jim Rook, passed away, and the responsibilities, weapons and whatever of the Nightmaster are given to Detective Chimp, and apparently he's been very lacking in that in that role. Prefer to just drink. But that's one half of the story. The other half of the story is Swamp Thing and John Constantine confronting Nabu, considering he's now helping the other kind, pretty much almost the villain, considering he turns on them. Kent Nelson is no longer in control, and the two are kind of at their weakest. The Parliament of Trees is gone, so Swamp Thing is all that's left. He knows he'll eventually get replaced by the Green, but there is no kind of like the guiding mentors of the Parliament are no longer there to help him, to aid him. And for Constantine, the demon blood that's, kind of been a curse but always protected him is now gone. So any dangerous magical spells or whatever that he uses are now extremely fatal to him. But regardless of that, both of them, the magician and the houseplant, fight against Naboo, and that's the main part. That's the second part of that issue. While the rest journey to Mira, and it's discovered that Detective Chimp is not welcome in the place he kind of lacked in protecting, doing his job. Art, as usual, with Justice League Dark is great. It always has the best art throughout each of these issues, and this was another good issue. Justice League Dark is a series you don't want to sleep on. It's James Tynion the fourth is doing great work. And that's it for those three. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.